Well, I'm the morning show co-host for the Morning Play on 106.9 Play, so I'm one half. My partner is MJ, and it's a 50-50 show. We try to do a lot of relatable stuff. Our goal is to make your morning fun. So, we'll have some emotional kind of tug at the heartstring stuff, but, a lot of your heavy stuff, we leave that to the news.
Right now, we actually have a couple things. One thing, one of our stations, Q1031, we have put together this cool prize package where somebody's going to get to go down to the CMAs. They'll get to go to the CMT Music Awards. They get to go to the CMA Awards. They get to go hang out at Warner Brothers Nashville, which is a huge record label in Nashville, and they get to go to all the fan parties of all their artists. So we're going to send somebody to go meet, one of their artists is Cole Swindell. So they'll get to go and meet all those people. They get to go do all those crazy things.
Well, I'm a failed television and film actor and / stand-up. I originally went to college in New York City for television and film acting. I wanted to be in sitcoms for a while, and I did stand-up comedy and improv, and I really liked that kind of thing, but I also gravitated toward voice work. And so I kind of got tired of the whole auditioning process, and when I moved back here to Louisville, and I took an internship at a radio station because I was like, well, that'll be fun. That wasn't my major. I was like, yeah, that'll be fun. And then I've kind of been hooked ever since. I genuinely enjoy being a part of people's morning routines because that is sacred. You think about what you go through every morning. You're like, I get up, I do this. And for someone to incorporate us into all of that, it's a pretty big deal to me.
I actually started in radio in high school. The high school I went to had a TV station and a radio station. And I started an internship here while I was in high school, and I was co-oping. And then they hired me on part-time, and I was just like, I really like this. I love this. So I just kind of stuck with it for about 5 years, and then I left, went to the mayor's office for a little bit, and was an event coordinator there. And while I was there, I was approached to come back and take on this position, which was the position I wanted all along.
Not really. I have a couple that are the bane of my existence, one of them being Jesse's Girl, because that has been saying to me at a very long... As a matter of fact, I got an apology from Rick Springfield for writing the song because I told him it ruined my life, so that was fun. I do like, I like Danger Zone. That's always for me, that's always a fun song. I like it on Fridays. It just kind of gets me ready for the weekend, but I wouldn't say there's one particular song. There are some that are more fun to play, and we try to keep more upbeat music in the morning because, nobody wants to wake up to a downer. It's very competitive. There are 3 major radio companies in this market. There are a couple smaller ones, but for the most part, there are 3 major ones. And as far as employment opportunities, it's heavily competitive. As far as ratings, it's pretty neck and neck. I'd say there's probably about 6 to 7 different radio stations that go back and forth between top 5, top 10 all the time. We play music that you're familiar with and that you love. So if you love 80s to 90s and your favorite song is in that era, you're going to hear it here. But then you're going to hear a song that is more contemporary that you also like. So it's a fun mix of nostalgia, songs that you were, depending on your age, you can remember rocking out to in high school or maybe college, but then you're going to have songs that your kids are going to be like, I love that song. So it's a nice mix of the 2 audiences. Also with our show and our station, we do our best to make sure that you can have kids on in the car. Now, we're not pandering to your kids, but it's appropriate for them to listen to. So, nothing, stuff that's still relevant to adults, but not so off-putting or put in a way that if kids hear it, you're not going to go, should have changed the channel, So we go out of our way. So there's a broad availability there, a lot of familiarity, and a lot of fun. Well, we do a lot of things. We're active on Facebook, which a large majority of our audience is. We're active on Instagram, we're active on Twitter. We have a Snapchat, but a good portion of our audience isn't active on that, so we have it and we do use that. But as far as social media, we try to keep up to date. I focus personally on my own social media, which you can find me at Jesse Rass on Instagram and at Jesse Rass on Twitter, facebook.com/Captain Jesse. But, things like Facebook Live videos, really connecting with your audience. I learned early on that the difference between, I like that person on the radio and I love that person on the radio, is social media.
Social media just gives us another avenue to connect with our listeners. The habits of listeners today are completely different than they were 5 years ago. I mean, right now with social media, they don't even have to listen to our station at all to know that we're giving away a trip to go to the CMAs, to know that we're giving away a trip to go to New York. They don't have to listen to us at all to know that we're doing those sorts of things or to even sign up. So we treat it as a completely separate medium that also supports our radio medium, because if you look at social media, they don't have to necessarily listen to us all the time, but if they're seeing our updates, we're topical for them. We're top of mind for them. So whenever they go back to their ratings book, they may write our name down just because we're at their top of their mind, because they're seeing the things that we're doing and they're signing up for the things that we're doing through social media. So we try to focus on giving away things that you can't buy. Like the CMA thing, we call it a Q exclusive experience, because you can't buy this access to the artists that we're going to give you. But we still do have to put a value on it for tax reasons. But something like that trip and the New York trip are both valued around $3,000.
I'll give you a couple because they all fall into different categories. A couple of the most significant, I proposed to my wife on a trip to New York City. We got Pat Monahan from the band trained to help out. That was really cool. I told the world that I was going to be a dad via Taylor Swift in a photograph that through social media ended up trending through an entire weekend, and that was super surreal, really cool. So those were kind of like opportunities that if I didn't work in radio would never have happened. I've done things like wrestled somebody in cream corn. That was not fun. Somebody was trying to win John Mayer tickets, and they said they would wrestle somebody in cream corn. I had to do it. They only brought 2 cans of cream corn and a kiddie pool, and it was not enough corn. We just finished raising money for the hospital for their Clips for Kids campaign, and it's a haircutting campaign. If you've ever listened to my show, my hair is almost a character in itself. It is a beloved part of me, and I've never in a million years offered or been willing to shave my head. And we just finished a campaign. I said, if we raise $5,000, I'll do it. We just got it. We're at a little over 6,000 as a matter of fact now. Everybody thinks, like classic radio. So the 2 things I get all the time are, well, what's your radio voice? I'm like, you're hearing it. Because that's what radio is now. Mm-hmm. It's genuine people, and it's not hey, you're listening to 106.9, play Jesse Rass in the morning. That era doesn't exist anymore. And so like sign-offs, there's really not anything like, hey, stay classy, Louisville. There's nothing really like that. Usually it's something like, here's what we got continuing going on, because my partner MJ, she does the midday shift as well. So she hangs out throughout the day, whereas I go home and do nothing because, that's fantastic. It's a great job if you can get it. So it's usually like, hey, see you tomorrow, things like that.